Actually, any devotee we see, we be happy. That's the culture. Just by seeing the devotee, we must be happy. But what about the particular I'll give you a real example. How it can be messy. There was a great one Vaishnav. He was a great businessman and rich, powerful, had a boy and suitable bachelor in the town. They wanted to choose a nice Vaishnavi for the marriage. And then your other family who were not so well off, but reasonably well. But the Vaishnavi was Sarva Guna Sampann, well in all respects. So the meeting happens. Now somebody has to sell lungs and kidneys to marry. Now somebody has to sell lungs and kidneys to marry. But you get the point. What this person is saying, हमें इतना तो चाहिए. We need at least. Now the other side, the person who had a daughter knew marriage won't work out. I mean, we don't have this much. But he was also a person of little self-respect.
Replace this.
So he thought, anyway, kuch nahi ho raha hai, nothing going to happen.
Okay.
Let me at least educate him.
Remove that phone.
Because he knew that the person who was demanding much
share the link to with Purushottam.
had nice lectures on Vaishnava etiquette. That nothing is meaningful other than bhakti. They said, Prabhuji, in your lecture you spoke about that nothing is so valuable, money is not valuable, character is so important. So what happened here? This is a true story. He said, we should keep the temple dealings and the other dealings little separate. Vyavahar ki baat hai. What? Vyavahar ki baat. Vyavahar and Parmar are not divorced in bhakti. Parmat means spirituality, doesn't lead to very smooth vyavahar. Now, of course, if there is somebody who is abusive and assaulting, then we keep a good distance. However, if Parmarth doesn't lead to a very smooth vyavahar, it's a failed cause. Especially in our families. It shouldn't lead to friction. There are situations of trying, struggles, but if it does not translate to vyavahar, then that Parmat we don't have anything to do. That is the reason Vaishnava Siddhant is so all-pervasive. We look at the land and the trees as manifestations of Shakti. So we don't need a separate environmental theology to conserve the environment. With everybody else, we know they have Antaryami inside. As much Antaryami there, as much Antaryami here. So, Vyavahar should be like Parmat. So what this person said, Vyavahar ki baat alag hoti hai. So this person who was Vaishnavi, he knew, inke ghar mein to nahi jayegi. She will not go in the home, but at least I must educate. So he gave a nice lecture. But you saw what happened? That's Upashakha. The Bhakti creeper was choked. That's the struggle we all face. And just to elaborate, this struggle is for real. The Upashakhas are real. Different acharyas have given us different logos. They are called art forms. Like Bhakti House, Bhakti Studio, we have an art form of that thing, right? ISKCON has an art form. Prabhupada designed it. That tilaka with the flower. BBT has an art form, right? The T and the B and the B. We all think in terms of logos. Now, right now, any company, first logo, vision, mission statement, correct? We also have a logo. So acharyas describe the art forms because we think very clearly in the form of art forms. And one of the first acharyas to describe about the art form of these Upashakhas is Rupa Goswami. So you can all repeat after me, and after that I would need an active mridanga player to always have the mridanga on the lap. Possible? Okay. Kamadinam katina katidha, Kamadinam katina katidha, Palita durnideshas, Palita durnideshas, Tesham jata, Maina karuna, Natrapa, Rupa Goswami is saying that imagine your upashakhas as the masters, unruly masters sitting in your home. You are in tiny corner, covered up, and anger Prabhu is there, Kam Prabhu is there, Lobh Prabhu is there, and they are chalawing you. Krodh is telling, what are you doing? Your spouse just shouted at you. Take some coals and throw at her. But who gets hurt by putting the coals in the hand? The person who is throwing. Then says, Prabhuji, not Prabhuji. Kam Prabhu does not use the word Prabhuji. He directly addresses in first person. And he says, take your big bag, go out and collect every person and everything in that bag. That person, that thing is meant for you. Don't you know that? Who will struggle lugging this big bag? That person, right? Like that envy, like that lobha. So Rupa Goswami is saying, Kamadinam, all these Kamadi, I thought I will take care of them. Palita, they are my servants, but what did they become? My masters. Durnideshas, now they are giving me the nidesh. They were supposed to be palita by me, but now they became my masters. And did they give me time off? No time off. Na trapa, na upashanti. Why is Rupa Goswami doing this? Because it gets stuck in our head that it is not I who is becoming angry. I am Atma, super soul. Some anger is sitting. Imagine a Prabhu sitting with like a big copper colored beard and mustache and hair and coal like eyes. That's the person. So next time anger comes, what do we do? Hey, ukhada hai. Next time karma comes, oh, somebody is pushing me. So that helps. It helps identifying the upashakha. Correct? Now, Rupa Goswami did. So the sister Sampradaya of Gaudiya is Pushti Marg. The Pushti Margis would also do. But they do in a bhajan way. And comes Surdas. He says, let's describe all our anarthas as our decorations. You know the song? Nacho bahut gopal ab main nacho bahut gopal. So you can, Prabhu, I have passed on the songs which we will sing today, and Prabhu will pass on to the your own phones and use them on Nacho. Nacho. I have danced a lot, Gopal. Not in a happy manner, but somebody is making me dance. Who? All the anarthas, right? How? Well, they became my ornaments. How? Kam krodh ko pahir cholna. Krodh ko pahir cholna. Kantha vishaya ki maan. Kantha vishaya ki maan. The kam is the kurta. My kurta is not kurta, kam. Uttariya is Krodh, and Mala was there, it's off now, it's Vishaya ki Mala, the sense gratification. Very graphic, right? And it's quite also telling because we generally might be carrying Kam and Krodh up our sleeves, right? Anything little pinch and Krodh comes, right? That's why he's describing Kam Krodh ko pahir chola. That's it? Only those ornaments? No, more are coming. How? Maha moh ke nupur bajat, Maha moh ke nupur bajat, Ninda sabad rasar, Ninda sabad rasar. You all can come here. This is a box. Ninda Sabad Rasal. The Ninda Shabd is the very juicy. The voice is Ninda. And the Nupur is ankle, heavy weight, I think, in the way it is kept. So when it does that Drupad means everything starts dancing. Hirak. So he's saying the man has become Pakhavaj only. And what is the gate? Asanga, the gate of bad association. Is that all? No. Trishna nad karat ghat bhitar, Trishna nad karat ghat bhitar. Amazing art form. Trishna means desire. So desire pushes inside, right? So what he's saying, Ghat, my heart, is being like tum tang tum tum, and Nana vidhi deta, Nana vidhi deta. Sometimes it is 10 pahariya tal, sometimes Rupak tal, sometimes Dadra tal, sometimes Kahrwa, sometimes fast beat, sometimes Punjabi Bhangra. Nana vidhi ke tal. Quite telling. Once somebody came to Prabhupada and said that I am free of Kam. Prabhupada said, no, you have to see the doctor. It's fight till the end. Better to err on the safe side and say, बहुत वाट लगी है. There's too much going on. Better to stay humble and raise the victory flag at the death, instead of raising it now and becoming Dharashai. Once, great venerable Vaishnava, we were talking and he was giving a very graphic examples. He said, Maya is strong. She will come with a trishul, put inside the stomach, take out her entrails and sell. Okay, Harivamsa Das defeated. Hari bol, Hari bol. Hari bol? That's the sharpness. Then, that's it? No. Maya ko kati pheta bandhyo. Maya ko kati pheta bandhyo. Lobha tilak diyo bhaar. Lobha tilak diyo bhaar. So, is there any hope? Do we have any hope? Yes, there is a hope. But the first step for us is the sankalpa. Whatever happens, to the worst case also, there is always a chance. Always a chance, and we can get up. This is what Rupa Goswami will also say. What he's saying that? Uttrijjeta natha yadupate sampratam labdha buddhi. I have now gotten the buddhi. I know a lot of things are mangled. I know I am diseased. But I have gotten the buddhi that I am diseased. That's a big thing. At least then we'll seek the help or pray for help. Isn't it? Love the buddhis. Now what will you do? Tvamayata sharanam abhayam mam niyam shvatmadase. Oh Krishna, all devotees, you have to give me shelter. So what is Surdas also saying as Rupa Goswami? सूरदास की सब अविद्या, सूरदास की सब अविद्या दूर करो नंदलाल, दूर करो नंदलाल, नाचो बहुत गोपाल में, नाचो बहुत गोपाल, अब मैं नाचो बहुत गोपाल, नाचो बहुत गोपाल. Next 3 sessions will be new art forms we'll be discussing. Of course, drawn from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's books, Rupa Goswami books, but we are products of modernity, right? We are living in modern civilization. So, sometimes Lobha Prabhu, Kama Prabhu, Anarth, Envy Prabhu, they don't come so simply, they come in very complex forms. So we need new complex art forms or new complex types of Upashakha so that we can meet them at where they are, isn't it? Identification becomes easy. Next 3 seminars, discussions, we'll take 2 art forms and they will go consequently deeper from the surface right to our connection with Krishna. Today we'll do 2 art forms. And with every art form we'll have a logo so that you'll remember it. Okay? The first art form or the first Upashakha is Andha Bhakti. What? Andha Bhakti or blind devotion. What?
Blind devotion.
And the art form is like this. You're trying to do. So remember that. What's the art form? Andha Bhakti. Oh, what do you mean? Bhakti is Andha, right? Dhavan nimilya va netre na pate naskhale tiha. We say that aankh band karke jao, nahi giroge. You won't fall anywhere, you won't trip anywhere. Well, certain aspect of bhakti is blind. We can have not seen Krishna. We have not met him. I haven't. Maybe some of you have. Madhav Chandra Prabhu maybe. He's a respectable senior, our guide. So, we haven't met. So, it's unheard and unseen. Still, with reasonable faith, we are trying to move our way. That's the part of Shraddha, isn't it? Shraddha doesn't mean, Prabhu ji, I have a Shraddha that this ball exists. It's there, it's pratyaksh. It's not a matter of Shraddha. The matter of Shraddha is something which is unseen. Something which is atindriya, right? Thing which is indriya, grahi, that is pratyaksh. Shraddha is atindriya. And that is why it is tricky. That's why there's some blindness to it. Well, scientists also have their own levels of Shraddha. Not all of them have done all the experiments. In fact, electrons also cannot be seen. Did you know that? Nobody can see it. Forget about what is inside the electrons and then what is inside them, quarks. Nobody sees it. It's also a matter of Shraddha. Big Bang string theory, matter of Shraddha. So there is some blindness, however it is calculated. Some reasonability is there. So then what is the anchor for Shraddha? What is that reasonability? It is Shastrartha Vishwasaha. Vishwas, belief in the earth of the Shastra. And this is the basic premise with which Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is starting his book Madhurya Kadambini. That Drida Vishwas in the Shastrartha. What does it mean? It means the processes which our Guru and Shastra has given, whatever process, with respect, sadara, with adar. Rupa Goswami also says that. Anudinam, adarad, anudinam, with respect, following them. That is Shastrartha Vishwas. So where is the Upashakha then, right? It's all nice. The Upashakha comes where this Shraddha becomes Balotpadita. What? Balotpadita. So there are these two types of Shraddha. One is Swabhaviki Shraddha, which is Shastric, which is with the belief on the words of the scriptures. That is Swabhavik. The other is Balotpadita, which is arm-twisted Shraddha. Happens in India in the villages, the mass conversions. That's not based on scripture. That's some gymnastics. And people start believing, oh, amazing. That is Balotpadita. That's not Shastric. Other word for Balotpadita is Laukika, by hearsay. It happened in Mahaprabhu's Leela also. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Supreme Personality of Godhead. He has already made the deers and the lions to kiss each other. There is a word in English called kooch, K-W-O. It sounds like K-W-O-O-T-C-H, but it's an Irish word, C-W-C-T-H. But it's pronounced as kooch. And it is, sometimes when devotees embrace each other, right? And you're looking, kisi ka to ribs gaya. Pragad Alingan, which is their kind of expression of love. This is called pooching. Embrace of love. And the deers and the elephants, everybody is embracing each other. And he said, Mahaprabhu, tumi to Shakhat Bhagwan. And what happens when he comes to Vrindavan? Mahaprabhu, I heard that Kalia is dancing. Kalia is dancing in the river Yamuna, and Krishna is dancing on the top of? Just by hearsay. Mahaprabhu is telling him that's not possible. Scriptural evidence. But hearsay, that is Laukika Shraddha, not Shastrika Shraddha. That is Balotpadita Shraddha. And that does lot of damage. In the personal life also, it leads to Anishtita Bhakti. What? Anishtita. It's not stable. So Vishnu Chakra Thakur very comically explains what can happen. One of the stages, always high. Pure devotee syndrome. Always high. Always, it's good to be enthusiastic, always high. But that's where the difference comes. Some devotees who've been practicing, we see many of our Guru Vargas always enthusiastic. But that is thigh. Somebody who has just joined, as they say, the new converts are the most zealous. Have you heard this? The new converts are the most zealous. Not jealous, zealous. Maybe jealous also. So, zealous. And then what happens? Utsahamahi. Full of utsaha. Just like, if a young child goes to a school, a batu, and he learns one shloka, like Prabhuji has learned so nicely. And he starts thinking, Ami to Mahapandit. This is the example Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives. A batu, he considered himself to be Uttama Shloka now. People should praise. That also happens in Bhakti, Utsahamai. Because the gravitas is not there. Why the gravitas is not there? Shastra has not been read. Why? Because Rupa Goswami is saying what? Utsahan Nischayat Dhairyat. Kapila Muni is also saying after a long time, it takes time. We should not be shooting stars. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. It's not even marathon. It's a relay race. You know the relay race? The baton has to be passed. You have to do again and again. So Utsamai is problematic. And after Utsamai is the wave was always up. And then it becomes Ghanatarala, which means thick and thin. The day when the chanting is appearing amazing, like we are drinking and gulping, why not 108 rounds? One devotee was sharing, he went in his childhood to Vrindavan, and one day he thought, 108 is a very good number. So then 108 rounds. And after a while it dropped. in the gaps of 16, then 8 rounds. So when it is easy going, great. When it is tough going, it's tough. So that means breaking the niyama. This is called ghanatarala. Sometimes it is thick, sometimes it is thin. Sometimes it is ghana, sometimes it is shithila. That's why our acharya's advisor set some minimum so that you can do it in a very graceful manner also. So that the people around are also not getting punches. खींच के भक्ति नहीं, खींचना, irritated. Sometimes when devotees chant, and this one of preachers was sharing, he has a terminology called constipated japa. So, okay, it's okay. Krishna is a kind person. So he termed it constipated japa. Well, the idea is the vyavhar also should not get affected, right? Khijna. Utsahamai, then it becomes Ghanatarala. And after Ghanatarala, it is Vyudha Vikalpa. Should I do that? Should I do that? Oh no, that's not good. Oh, maybe 1 year I should do this, or next year. In bhakti, right? So, example is given of ashramas here by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Here or there or middle or here, like that. Vyudha Vikalpa. So, Utsama is always high. Ghanatarala is sinusoidal wave. And then Vyudha Vikalpa is like that. AC. But this is anishtita, right? It's not sthai. That's the problem with Andha Bhakti, when the scriptural basis is not there. And then lot of muses start following. There's a story of Srigal Singh. Anybody heard about Srigal Singh? Oh, it's wonderful. The king came to know through the mouth of people that Srigal Singh has died. And he thinks Srigal Singh has died. Srigal Singh has died? Or somebody added doctor also. Dr. Srigal Singh has died. Srigal Singh died? Chutti. Everybody should wear black. And there was just one wise person in the town. He came. Srigal Singh. Who is Srigal Singh? Ghoda tha. He was horse of some minister. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati gives another example. A circus comes in the town. 25 paisa circus. Only fees 25 paisa. But who is allowed? One person. Maybe it was inspired from Vrindavan. Prem gali ati chakari jame bhaya na do. 2 people cannot come. Try going to Sankari Khor. I don't know how many of you have gone. Nowadays, they, even without being in such Krishna's times, the tax collecting pastime is being enacted. How? The small young girls will come. When you are crossing, girls and boys will come. They will tug at your dhoti. Tax do. So it's quite sakra. And you cross that, this comes to Chiksole-gra, you cross it, and then you turn around and Parsana, Parikrama. So Khor. So only one person can go inside the circus. So this fellow goes inside thinking that, wow, 1-on-1. And no sooner he enters inside, bashing here and there, left and right. He's beaten, his clothes are torn, he gets some red, black and blue everywhere. He comes out, people ask, Kaisa tha? How was it? Fantastic. It was so fantastic. I just, okay, ROTFL, rolling on the floor with laughter. Sab phat gaya. The other person also goes, same bashing. He also comes out and says, ROTFL. It's percolated again and again. Nobody finds out the truth. Andha Bhakti. And how Andha Bhakti is getting created? Through the anarthas of pramad, laziness, and more illusion. Correct? Nobody is trying to find out what is that 25 paisa circus. I mean, why it is 25 paisa? And why is that person black and blue? Andhavakti. Correct? And what's the cure? Remaining connected with the scriptures. Somehow. Now, different of us will have different capacities. Some digest one shlokas and then they have to ruminate for the entire day. Or they will read for half an hour and then, okay. Some will have khorak or the diet of 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. It depends. There should not be should here. One reading for 4 hours, hammering the other, saying that at least 4 hours. No, there is no digestive capacity. Or one who is reading for half an hour say, why are you reading 4 hours? Reduce it down. No, everybody of us have different capacity. That too is Andhavakti. Normalizing everybody. Like these days. What is the career choice? Earlier we'll ask I. Now we'll ask AI. It's actually normalization culture. Sanatana Dharma was very individualistic culture. Figure out your place. Figure out, you're just talking, your seva will save ya, Vaisheshika Prabhu will say. And figure it out, your own. The way you can approach. So that the vyavhar is not damaged. Right? Nobody should be able to even guess it. Oh, he looks like a very ordinary person. Accessible, kind, but internally the bhavas can go on. Actually, that's the kasauti for bhakti. Otherwise, it could be andha bhakti. So, what's the cure? Staying connected with the scriptures. Better transcendental vibration. Now we have many upayas. Those who are reading, books. Never will be tired. Ki Prabhu ji, sab to pad liya hai. More are coming. We have now prolific authors who are writing four books every year. Our Param Pujya Shivram Maharaj, at least 10 volumes will come on Vilapko Samanjali. And Param Pujya Bhanu Swami Maharaj, I heard from Maharaj, he has recorded audiobooks. Lalit Madhav, Vidagdha Madhav, Anand Vrindavan Champu, Gopal Champu, Chamatkar Chandrika, and all just nectar, because behind there is music going on. When it says, Madhumangal says, Krishna, why don't you play the flute? Okay, let me play the flute. Everything stops and there's a flute song. So it is like smoothie. What we had in the afternoon. Healthy smoothie. We don't have to digest it. Or we have Amala Bhakta Swami Maharaj. His narrations are like he creates different voices for different characters. Animal characters also have different voices. So that's how venues are available. We can figure out what works for us so that transcendental vibration sticks with us. Isn't it? That's the cure for the first art form, which is what? Maybe you can act in front of me. Andha Bhakti. Come on, what? Andha Bhakti. It's like groping in the dark. Arey, kya hua? Usne kaha. He said, okay, let's do it. Nobody checking. It results into fanaticism. What is fanaticism? As Ravindra Swarup Maharaj describes, it is overcompensation of lack of faith inside. What? Overcompensation of lack of faith inside. And sometimes it is overcompensated by loud shouting. What? Loud shouting. Are we familiar with that? We are. Well, many of the sometimes society leaders, they shout a lot, but the inner truths are something else. And it happened in our society also. Early on, 1967-68, in New Vrindavan, 4 early Swamis went there on the Janmashtami festival and said to everybody, Sab baith jao, chup chap, everybody sit. Real thing is, Srila Prabhupada is equal to Krishna. Got it? Somebody raised, no, chup! Literally, those who had experience, they said they were heavied out. Heavied out means hammered out. Now what are they preaching? Srila Prabhupada is equal to Krishna. They were saying Prabhupada left to Japan at that time, and perhaps he had gone there for that Bhagavad Gita, Macmillan deal, maybe. And they were saying that's why Prabhupada left United States of America. You are not getting the real purport. Prabhupada is equal to Krishna. Of course, why will a person say his own glories? We are not understanding it. Now what is this? Can anybody guess what philosophy is this? Because what is Mayavad? It can create hierarchies for Vyavahar, but eventually it is just one.
Isn't this Ritvik?
Well, sort of, but in Ritvik there is a different touch, right? There we are talking of gurus. There also there is a Mayavad tinge, but we will not go there. Maybe we can go after the discussion. There was one smart couple in the audience, and many smart couples. So Sri Rupanuga Prabhu. Rupanuga Prabhu's wife told, AG, no? The good householder collaboration is nice. So you should do something about it. Doesn't look right. Now she didn't have the answer why it's not right. Just imagine now we have done Bhakti Shastris and we have read books, distribute books like that. We can, all gratitude to our teachers, right? That you all can easily catch it. But at that time the movement was very young. Books were not there. The second canto, it's very austere, right? Those were, I think, distributed. And devotees would wait. So Rupanuga Prabhu said, wait a minute, I have been reading Nectar of Devotion. And in Nectar of Devotion it is said, this is a tinge of Mayavad philosophy. Immediately, the antenna was up. They wrote letter to Prabhupada. Prabhupada then took the matter in his own hands. So now, if the touch with the scripture was not there, what would have happened? That's it. These are reverential people. Hence, it is so important to be in touch with scriptures. That Queen's song was there, right? Show must go on. Somebody of you would know. Transcendental vibration must go on. And when the transcendental vibration goes on, we have that Shraddha, then we can expect others also to get that kind of Shraddha, right? Laukika Shraddha will lead to Laukika Shraddha. Balotpadita Shraddha will lead to Balotpadita Shraddha. Shastrik Shraddha will lead to Shastrik Shraddha. And then the preaching movement can go in a very sthayi manner. As what Bhakti Vinod Thakur is saying. श्रद्धावान जान है 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 प्रभु राज्ञा भाई मांगिए भिक्षा प्रभु राज्ञा are really entitled to ask that alms also from people, right? What? Bolo Krishna, Bhajo Krishna, Koro Krishna Shiksha. 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 the blind, andha bhakti, the art form, whose cure is to stay in touch with scriptures. Bhakti Shastri, whatever works. If we can't read or hear, catch somebody, sunado. So that at least we know what we are doing. And then it must manifest in a way so that it's not punch on the faces of people who are around us. Then it is failed. That's the other side of Antha-bhakti. Second is, the art form is like this. The first art form was like this. The second is like this. Sanshayatmika bhakti. What? Sanshayatmika bhakti. Suspicious devotion. What? This has been a trend in the world. We have all, if not masters of suspicion, but jacks of suspicion. And the credit goes to one guy, a bearded guy, who was born in Germany, but he was thrown out of Germany. And then he went to Paris and London, and he wrote big books. And he wrote big books, and his philosophy later on became very, very famous. And we think, this fellow writing books there, how will it affect us? No. Ideas have consequences. What? Ideas have consequences. We are already seeing it. An idea in the sense of Guru Parampara is having many consequences, right? Simple idea. What was that Abhishek Bachchan had, right? Idea. Idea. One idea can have a lot of consequences. So this idea was, nothing is for real on the surface. Let me repeat. You can listen it carefully because it's going on in the society. Nothing is real on the surface. Education, healthcare, politics. Okay, what all things are on the surface? Religion also. What else? Sports. Yeah. Good. What else? Finances. What else? Baseball. Wo sports mein aa gaya. Okay, 10 points. Huh? Luxury. Good. Oh, that's a big pain point. Everything is a facade. Real underneath, there is a struggle. Struggle of the oppressors and the oppressed. There is one class who are oppressors. There is another class that is oppressed. And let's revolt against the oppressors. Welcome to Marxism. This was Karl Marx. But as a result of it, what is the ethos which has become spread in the society in general? Let's doubt everything. Religion cannot be for real. And that's why Marx would say religion is the opium for the masses. They just want to forget this struggle. However, since we have been brought up in this society, and that's the self-critical nature, right? It's nice to be self-critical than self-congratulatory. Instead of doing that, it's better to self-critical, no harm. Vaisheshika Prabhu taught us, we live to be corrected. What? We live to be corrected. Oh, fortunate are those who have a corrector, a very kind, loving corrector in their lives. Right? Otherwise, how will we get refined? So, because of this current ethos in which we have been brought up, right? That's a fact. This suspicion comes in, right? So we might sometimes we might doubt devotees. Is he for real? I mean, is the process real? Doesn't work. Maybe some new thing has to be added. Or something has to be borrowed. Isn't it real? There's a thought process like this. So we have become jacks of suspicion. Some suspicion is already lurking around. But this suspicion makes the bhakti process bitter. It's one of the very big upashakha. What? Upashakha, which grows along with the main creeper. This used to be there in Russia. In fact, today I was talking, even in China, when earlier book distributors were there and bhakti was picking it up, they were very cautious. Because somebody would feign as a devotee, enter inside and then boom, break the entire thing. In Russia it used to be happening because there everybody was suspicious of everybody else. And they would label each other as Vrag Naroda, which means enemy of the state. And one can get tried, one can get punishment without even getting tried. So it was a whole atmosphere of suspicion. Imagine if that comes in devotee community. Now, we understand different devotees come, different personalities come to devotional process with different motives. That's a fact, and we are all taking bath. But generally our acharyas have told, this is the bottom line statement for a well-balanced bhakti. What's the bottom line statement? Devotees are generally not malicious. What? Devotees are generally not malicious. This really removes the burden of our heart. Because in society we see a lot of malicious behavior. So there is a possibility we may carry it here, right? Oh, dal mein kuch kala hai. Nahi, dal hi kali hai. Imagine those for whom we sing song, Oh Hey Vaishnav Thakur, to those if we say, Andar kuch aur, bahar kuch aur. If there is a shopkeeper who has mithai, sweet meat, and he is not eating because he has diabetes, who cares? And that is, we can get the mithai. And we can assume there must be some genuine reason why he or she is not eating the mithai. Giving benefit of doubt, not doubting it. Suspicion just chokes the bhakti. Just chokes the bhakti. On the other hand, giving benefit of doubt or understanding the situation helps the flowers and the creeper to rise. That upashaka is gone. This is another art form. And especially we have to be careful in our current day and age, where the entire ethos, the news and everything is telling us to doubt. We may end up doubting our gurus also then, because that's the last kind of link, and then slowly we may, and then everything is broken. Srila Prabhupada gave us, now it's a cliche, but if we read the books and following our Acharya's words, Acharyas are walking amongst us, everything needed to go back home, back to Godhead. We may take chutney from here and there, but the main course is Prabhupada's kitchen, right? So let the doubt not come. And if the doubt comes, grab somebody who can remove the doubt. There is one more cure to it. Associate with those who have modest devotion. What? Associate with those who have modest devotion. You have seen, right, in every congregation, there will be some very simple. They're always smiling. I was talking with Prabhu, you went to Prabhupada's village and you met Prabhupada disciples who've been serving 40, 50 years, and you told them how you can serve them, and what did they tell? Just come, give us association. Very simple, modest devotion. Associating with those kind of removes those thorns of doubts which we may be having stuck here and there. Right? There are some devotees, like in their association we feel, man, I do so much gymnastics. Bhakti is so simple. And let me tell you about one devotee. Especially in this home where there are homes of Vallabhas. Right? Chaitanya Vallabh Prabhu and Lalita Vallabhi Mataji. So there was a shop, and it was a shop of saris. And an old lady is shopping in the sari shop. And yeah, mothers do that. I have seen our mothers do it. I feel, how do you run sari shop? Roj, kitna dekhte ho? So, anyway, Prabhu sometimes also do that. So she's looking, nothing is clicking, right? There's a click, it happens, right? And then you need exactly that. Some are laughing nicely. So she suddenly turned and a rickshaw was going on. rickshaw was going, and a dancing girl was sitting there. One whose profession was to entertain by dancing, and she was wearing the sari which clicked. And she ran. Nandlal was her servant. Le chalo. So now it's a dhoom machale chase. Chase! And she's like, who is coming? And it's a different mores at that time, different culture at that time. So this girl who was entertaining people by dancing, she was a little shocked because here is a very, like a lady from a respectable place coming. What's going on? She put everything. Said, Maya, what do you need? Your sari is quite nice. Can you arrange a sari like that for my bahu? Wow, your bahu is so fortunate. Having a mother-in-law like that, we all know, saas bahu, tu main. So, your saas is so nice, but this is not my sari, somebody gifted it to me. By the way, who is your bahu? Oh, she is Vishabhanu Nandini Shri Radhe. Oh. Okay. And by the way, who is your son? Oh, he's the son of Nanda Baba, is known as Kanhaiya. Again, gulp. Now, she was simple. I give kudos to this dancing girl also. She also embraced that. Wow. Now it's my seva. I'll arrange not 1, 2 pieces of sari, and don't worry about it. Just give me the address. This sari will come from Varanasi. What's your address? She said, Sri Anandi Bai, Anand Vallabh Temple, Vrindavan. By the way, that temple is still there. Now you go there, you will see a picture in which an old lady is sitting, and here it is Krishna, Kanhaiya, here it is Vishabhanu Nandini Radhe. She was born in a Kashmiri family, and their parents and grandparents were Purohits of Motilal Nehru. Nehru is Kashmir, Pandits, right? So they were Purohits, and one fine day she decided, I'm going to Vrindavan. She went to Vrindavan and took Diksha in a Ramanuja Sampradaya. So I think this story very well matches the mood of Seattle. And I think it is needed to build as many bridges. In fact, our mission should be build bridges. People are breaking bridges. For every 2 bridges broken, we'll make 4 bridges. Yeah, it's required. Once, one of my brahmachari friend was telling about he went to Udupi, and then they were chanting different mantra there, and person with whom he went, he said, Prabhu, they should be chanting Hare Krishna, right? Why? There are other mantras also. There are also names of Krishna. Why should every be in the AI culture? AI culture is like that. Everybody normalized to one thing. So she took initiation in Ramanuja, but her worship was Vrindavan. The worship was like Radha Vallabha, because this temple is next door to Radha Vallabha temple. Now if you go to, anybody been to Radha Vallabha temple? Okay, next time you all come, I'll take you there. Radha Vallabha temple is one of the most famous temples, but near it is old temple which was destroyed. And there, near there, there's a small lane, and the temple is, you will not be able to find it. There, she asked her father to carve out the deities of Radha Krishna. She could worship. This is Anand Vallabh. Anand Vallabh. Something called Radha Anand Vallabh. And she worshipped. But Krishna was very naughty. Radharani was very naughty. Simple devotion, and Thakurji becomes pleased with simple devotion. Yes, some of us are intellectuals. We may do gymnastics, and we can make slides, and we can do what? BG, EBG, game. So many things. We have to do it. But in the heart of the hearts, this is the path of heart, right? So that simple devotion. So Krishna would ask, I need malpua today. Oh, kachori. Oh, samosa. Oh, that sari. Oh, well, today I just want to hear some nice songs. So her whole day was busy in reciprocating with Krishna. And this is 19th century, 1850s. She left the body at the beginning of the 20th century, and when she left, there was a big Mahotsav. Everybody came. For whom? Simple lady, didn't have much. She always would remain in Karj. Karj means debt. Because whatever would come, she would spend it. And then in this old temple, Radha Vallabh temple, there's a near temple which is destroyed. Sadhus would stay. Even now, today, if you go, sadhus just sit there and do kirtan. So every night she would come and say, anybody hungry? Oh, you are hungry. She would cook and serve. And that's why when she left the body, entire town came for her Nirvan, the great yatra. So the first is blind bhakti, the cure is to continue the transcendental vibration. Then it is suspicious bhakti, like sanshayatmika bhakti. Cure is find out those with modest devotion. That will be the quickest way to have the simplicity dawn, come in your hearts. Why? Because we love the devotees. Other than them, no way. And that's why it is sung. And you will love this song because it compares the association devotees with many, many other things which we might think as valuable, but Acharya is saying, not a whole lot. Jo sukh hot bhakt ghar aaye, 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 so sukh hot nahi bahu sampati, so sukh hot nahi bahu sampati, vaanhi beta jaaye, vaanhi beta jaaye. Saying that jo sukh, that sukh which comes when the devotees come in our lives, it's incomparable. Keep saying, even if we get Bahu Sampati. Because Bahu Sampati might be that big baggage, right? Which according to Rupa Goswami, Lob is telling, get that big bag, go out and collect as much as possible. So the person will be weighed down. But with the devotees, it will lift it up. That appreciation. We agree sometimes there are sparks. But let's not aggravate the sparks. Or at least we can respect that maybe the paths are different, but you're also the part of the same community. Okay? What other things happen when the devotees come in our life? That Bahu Sampati is fickle and Bhajahi Beta Jai. What does this mean? If suppose somebody is not getting, issue is not happening, right? And if she gets it, the amount of sukha doesn't compare. We are saying that devotee association is so important. And he says, Jo sukh hot bhakt charno dak, Jo sukh hot bhakt charno dak, Pivat gat lagaye, Pivat gat lagaye, Jo sukh ati sapne hu nahi paid, Jo sukh ati sapne hu nahi paid, Kotik tirat naaye, Kotik tirat naaye. Jo sukh, that sukh which you can get by dipping here and there and everywhere, or by drinking the Bhakta Charnodak, He says that you cannot find in your own home if you become a grandfather and you are playing with your pota. In traditional societies, that was considered to be a great. My pota, which means the son is nicely doing, and then there's a pota also. It doesn't compare. जो सुख होत भक्त वचन सुन, जो सुख होत भक्त वचन सुन, जो सुख होत मिलत साधुन सुन, जो सुख होत मिलत साधुन सुन, छिन छिन रंग बड़ा song. Harivamsa from Bundelkhand, who shifted to Vrindavan, says that even if I get Lanka or Sumeru, I cannot trade it in. This is a tall order. Maybe we'll not feel that with everybody, but at least with somebody, some little crowd, that they are my shelter. And that's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, and we end with that. O he Vaishnava Thakur, Doyar Sagar, Edase Karuna Kori. O he Vaishnava Thakur, Doyar Sagar, Edase Karuna Kori. Diya Pada Chaya Shodhaya Maya Diya Pada Chaya Shodhaya Maya. Shodho means Skravanam Mopanam. Sadho. Hame sadho. We have to go from sadhana to sadhya. Somebody has to do the Skravanam Mopanam. Shodhaya Maya Tomara Charana Dhori. Tomara Charana Dhori. Together we can sing. Chaya Vega Lomi, Chaya Dosha Shodi, Chaya Guna Devo Dase, Chaya Satsanga. Deho hai hamare, Hoshti Sangera Ase, Ohe Vaishnava Thakura, Doyara Sagara, Ekase Karuna Kori. Now he's saying, I'm alone, I need help. One saint would say, Hijko mat. What? हिचको मत, मांग लो, इससे पहले गाड़ी निकल जाए. हिचको मत, don't hesitate. Need help? Ask it. It might be just around the corner. एकाकी अमर नहीं पाया बला, हरि नाम संकीर्तने. तुम्ही कृपा कोरी श्रद्धा बिंदु दिया, तुम्ही कृपा कोरी श्रद्धा बिंदु दिया, देहो कृष्ण नाम धारे, देहो कृष्ण नाम धारे. That word, कृष्ण से तो मारा, कृष्ण दीते पारो, कृष्ण से तो मारा, कृष्ण दीते Radhika Raman Prabhu, the great inimitable Radhika Raman Prabhu, says that often the best thing to check is whose association are you pining for. दिन में कुछ होता है कि I should associate with that devotee, at least some of those devotees, I hanker for that. At least, well, we have to go to work and do the usual things, but that hankering is there. Some devotees, if the answer is coming, man, big problem. I mean, can be solved, but there is a problem. In which, like, you say, well, devotee X, nah, but devotee Y, oh yeah, big but. But then there are too many ifs and buts. This means a big issue, which means the only association to be hankering is our mind. That is why devotees run, do cross countries, go here and there. What's the mool uddesha? And that's my mool uddesha here also. This is just a bahana. Some of you have kicked me up, but that kick is merciful to me. And I log in to see you all, and I'm now seeing in person. So, Tumara Shakti Raje, Tumara Shakti Raje, Amito Kangal, Krishna Krishna Boli, Amito Kangal, Krishna Krishna Boli, Amito Kangal. Radha Radha Boli, Amito Kanda, Radha Radha Boli, Aitava Pache Pache, Aitava Pache Pache, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Thakur ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you. We have 4 minutes to 9, which is the official time, but I am unofficially available as much as possible. We can take questions, reflections, comments, suggestions, or songs in your own language. Please. Any thoughts, reflections? Yeah. Yes.
Hare Krishna, very wonderful, wonderful class. I think I'm loud enough. Prabhu, can you just please elaborate a little bit more around suspicion makes bhakti better?
No. Oh, makes better.
Bitter.
Bitter. Oh. What happens? One saint would say, Rakshata, 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 Koshanam api hridayam kosham. Protect, protect, protect. Kosh means tijori. The tijori of all the tijoris, which is your heart. Yasmin surakshite sati sarvam surakshitam syat. If it is protected, then everything else is protected. We'll have enthusiasm, we'll have creative expression to do, we'll channelize our creativity, we will be eager to serve, because the heart is bubbly, right? So what happens when suspicion comes? It starts hitting at the tree of Shraddha, because Shraddha means faith. Suspicion is direct antipodal, right? Opposite. So slowly first it starts axing the leaves and the trees. Now healthy suspicion about crazy things, there is a space for that, right? There is a space for doubt. I mean, we doubt and therefore we ask questions like that. But as in life, everything is in grey shade and there is no black and white. But suspicions about things which are just in the air will sit in our heart, and then it will regurgitate, they call it. Jugali, the rumination will happen. So then it slowly will start poisoning the roots, and the Shraddha will go. First the Shraddha will go, I mean, nothing is better here. And then the Shraddha will, the process may not work. And we go, well, I think the folks who are giving me the process, maybe they don't know anything better. So it just progresses and it becomes bitter and bitter and bitter. That is why that sacred space in the heart of that modest devotion, in which we are like those small child with this ear to ear smile and like our yogit. That is so valuable. I'll give you a practical example, right? It has happened with me so many times. Prabhuji, whoa, कुछ तो चल रहा है. अब कुछ तो गड़बड़ है. And then it enters your system, right? Now if you are so pure and the heart is so strong, we immediately cut it off, right? That's his opinion. Unless I check it, I will not believe it. But still it enters the heart, right? The view changes. I mean, there is something comes invisibly. So saints tell us then the atonement for it. Either we find out, but why to find out if it is not concerning our business, right? But if that seed has come in our heart of suspicion, better than to look at the good qualities of the person, dig out so that that suspicious seed is uprooted, that upashaka is uprooted, or try to serve him, somehow or the other. Because once that thing comes, it's like a spulling. Spulling is a small fire. Our elders would tell that don't go out of the home without putting off fire or incense sticks, because you never know. And here, you really never know. Wood homes, right? So, it is just so progressive. So, people say that if it doesn't concern our business directly, right? I think not to allow the suspicion in our hearts. It's none of our business. Because it will just grow and it will cut and it will start doubting process, devotees, like that. Does it make some sense?
It made complete sense. I was trying to just relate to the first one, which is
Blind
like
bhakti.
not blind bhakti.
Yes.
And but I think you're right. Like when that creeper comes,
The
immediately
upashaka.
the upashaka, somehow you have to remove it. And one of the antidotes you gave is to trust someone whom you trust, somebody who's like a devoted, whom you really trust. Maybe talk to him or her.
Yes. Oh yeah, that works. Yeah, oftentimes, like, why did he do it like that? And if you know a person whom you trust, who knows that person well, he can say, well, he's going through a tough situation. And then it just eases out, right? And it's so important because if we carry that suspicion, just when we see that devotee, we like something is there, invisible thing in the air. And it just makes things so...
Because I think we try to put it in a box at that point of time versus understanding the bigger context.
Yeah. Because fast life, right? Very quick life. Again, it relates to the first blind bhakti, andha bhakti, that. And we don't have time to even check the facts. Sometimes we may never be able to check the facts. It's really not possible. So just leave it. Give full benefit of doubt. Of course, those who are at the authoritative positions, if something is there which can trigger off a big hoopla, then they have to maybe do the needful. Yeah, that's it. Thank you, very thoughtful. Yes, Mataji.
Wonderful class, Prabhu, as always. Good to see you here in
Yes.
Seattle. Prabhu, I have a reflection. I don't know
Yeah, yeah.
whether it is right or wrong. but
Everything
you
is
can feel free to
perfect.
correct
Yeah.
me. But I feel that the two things are related, the Andha Bhakti as well as the Sanshayatmika,
Mhm.
because sometimes when you question something, it might be taken as a doubt.
Mhm.
Because it also sort of depends on the, I mean, I feel like it depends on the upbringing as well. Like nowadays the upbringing is like you're supposed to question and not
Take it on the face
yeah,
value.
not take it on the face value. So because of so much conditioning, like when you're questioning something, people may think that, may form the perception that you are doubtful, when that may not be the
okay, got
case. It's just, you may be asking the question just for developing a deeper understanding or clarifying
Yes,
with an intention to
yes.
clarify your doubt, but people may take it as you
Yeah.
have doubts.
Yes, yes. That's why, as we were just discussing, there is a room for doubt. I mean, doubt is a symptom of intelligence. We do clarify our doubts, but then there are areas where there is unhealthy doubt, especially when it deals with the life of others. I didn't tell, the suspicious devotion is also called the devotion of others. Suspicious devotion is the others' devotion. Because you're just worried about what is she doing? Yeah, so that is none of our business, right? Because, I mean, yeah, it's our business if we are friends and we take care, but oftentimes we may be worried more about what's going in the heart space of others, but we have no view. I think that's where giving benefit of doubt is important. But in clarifying, I think as much as we should have our doubts cleared. Does it help? A good reflection, yeah, anyway, for the
Yeah,
reflection.
Prabhu, I feel like sometimes it's also a business because sometimes we look up to our seniors to see where they are headed, and we look up to them for a good example, and if we see something in them which we don't like, we feel like, okay, we don't want to be like that, right? So we kind of back off and, that
Become
may
more
happen.
reserved.
Yeah.
Yes, that will depend on case to case, and we can talk to somebody about it, and those who are connected with them, if we feel so. There are proper channels, right? That's the Vaishnava etiquette. Vaishnava etiquette is always respect, because much is going on. Thirumangai Alvar in South India, right? I mean, build temples by like robbing and cutting and stealing. How can we judge? I mean, a lot of things are happening, and so there are always proper channels. Vaishnava behavior is always full of etiquettes, and that is our ornament. Yeah, because maybe somebody is going through rough patch, and Krishna is orchestrating an individual cleansing process, and in that, if we start bringing swords and ammunitions, maybe we'll get hurt. That person may get purified. It was a rough patch, right? Rough patch. And then person will go like this. But we got caught up in that rough patch, and we screamed, or we spread it and like that, and we may go down, we may go in a big pit. So it has to be handled very, very carefully. And also, Mataji, we have to understand that it's not just this lifetime, right? The devotees, the previous lifetimes also, sometimes we see, it looks like the person is struggling, but maybe this is the last struggle. Done after that, there was a devotee like this.
It is also like putting ourselves on the higher ground, Prabhu, thinking ourselves better than everybody else, and both the sides.
Actually true. That's why it's very good to have a conversational partner. Somebody whom you can converse with, and then much can get revealed, because, or you write. So basically, here there is a big whirlpool going on. And we don't see. It's really not very, very crystalline. So either it has to come out, right? Either like through words or through written words, spoken words like that. Yeah. So there was a bhakta called Bal Bhakta Om Prakash. Maybe we'll discuss the story later on. His was last struggle. He was just 10 years old, and he was going through some disease or something. Krishna says, don't worry, tolerate it, last struggle. 72 days, after that he went back home, back to God. And his samadhi is there in Garud Govind. So, we may not see the entire picture. However, we also are humans, because it may hurt us. So we can carve out our own sacred space so that we don't disrespect and create more fireworks and continue. It happened in ISKCON during the 1980s. Ravindra Sarup Prabhu said, lot of things were going on, but devotees were sure that even in the time of turmoil, they could advance spiritually. Let me repeat it. Even in the time of the worst turmoil, they could advance spiritually. And that's the definition of peace. A Raja asked, paint peace. Somebody painted, we used to have, all kids would paint like this. River like this. Mountain like this. Anybody remember? All of us remember. And the sun like this. And even in US it is like that. And birds with tick mark. And house कैसे बोल सकते हैं? Peace? That's not peace. The first award went to a person. In his painting, everything was chaotic. Trees falling, river going there, mountains falling down. But there was a bird's nest. And there was a feeder bird and the fed bird. That's peace. The feeder bird is Antaryami, fed bird is Atma. Watt lagi hui hai, megawatt, gigawatt. That is peace. So it is possible in the worst of the situations. I mean, Viktor Frankl did it in the concentration camp. And Bhakti tells that too. It is possible to advance spiritually in any worst turmoil-like situation. So I think we can carve that out. If we are feeling it overwhelmed, okay, space. We carve out space, then we can advance. And then hopefully, slowly, those spaces will merge. And then again things will be fine. Hope that helps. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yes. Time for the organ was when I have to.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
Yes.
Pancham Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. So my question is...
Pancham Pranam. Okay. Wonderful. Attention to details. Thank you.
In Vrindavan, my senior devotee Mataji told me, don't say that but Pranam. So,
My Danvarsu, all of you.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, Prabhuji, my question is that we know Krishna is our first priority. Everybody knows Krishna is first priority. We drive in Katha, Kirtan, Prasadam. But how we put Krishna in first priority? Because if you don't do Japa in some time, it's impossible to finish. They will be passed. Time will be passed. How we will fix to read the Bhagavatam in the time? How we should the practice to be strict with discipline for this thing, because it's important, because hours, years are going to pass, even life are going to pass.
Yeah.
So how we put Krishna as a priority?
Set a sadhana schedule.
How?
Prabhuji, you can repeat the question. I think the audience may not.
Okay. So, Ritika Mataji is asking that Krishna is the first priority. We know it, we have heard about it, but how to do so? How to do so, for example, japa and things like that, right? Yeah, well, what is there in our hands? In book distribution it is said, just what is there in your hand is just go and hit the pavement. Oh, haath lagana. Go to the pavement and then you're out in the world and Krishna will do the magic. So our hitting the pavement is we can follow some schedule in our lives and just stick to it over and over again. Reinforce it again and again. Because in our past, our choices have reinforced some other choice. So we have to reinforce Krishna choice again and again. And what is in our control is following the schedule. What else we can do? First, basic is the schedule, right? Now, schedule may be different for different. There we cannot again do whitewash. If a mother is having a young baby, it will be too violence to tell her, keep the baby aside and keep chanting. That's a violence, right? Prabhupada said that raising the child is really worship. So, whatever works, but some semblance of schedule. Niyama, right? Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya bhava sa sadhana vidha. That's called sadhana. So, that's some. And you said how? Google sheet. Excel sheet. whichever works, or write it down. And best if we can be accountable to somebody else. I think that really helps. If we are not of the personality that we are accountable to ourselves and we have that scalpel-like vision of refining our schedule, so yeah, schedule is garbad, so change it. Then have somebody else whom we are accountable. That helps. Thank you for great question.
Here.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Harivamsa Prabhu. Prabhu, very wonderful class, very thought-provoking class. So I have a reflection as well as I want to confirm whether it is correct or not. So you mentioned about Andha Bhakti. So the antidote to Andha Bhakti is also, because nowadays we talk about being mindful. So what we are like, why we are doing what we are doing. So you mentioned that we have to take the reference of the scriptures, right? Help of the scriptures to verify whether it is what we are doing is correct or not. So it is also, does that also mean being mindful?
Yes, mindful. Well, it's a modern word, but it means aware. Aware. And Gadhariya Pravaha. I heard this, Prabhupada uses this. Means the sheep is going and the sheep are following. Sheep are seeing ki aage gir rahe hain, but then Gadhariya Pravaha. It's very sad actually. 25 paisa circus, right? So yes, becoming aware, but it's little technical than that. And that's why we use the word Shastrik Shraddha. It's aware not like any general awareness, but the awareness pegged or anchored on scripture. Because that's the Shabda Brahma, correct? So, Balotpadita or Laukika Shraddha is the Shraddha which is Andhi, right? But the Shastrik or Swabhaviki Shraddha is what we are banking on. Okay? So, in that sense, it is aware, but it is aware based on scriptures. Yeah? People are aware of many other things or based on other things, but for us, it is the main Shastra. Shastrartha Vishwasa. Okay, thank you.
And I just want to add, like, I
Yes.
think that's where all Vaishnavas and everyone who speaks from the Vyasasana, they actually give the Shastric evidence.
That's so important, yeah. Like Madhurya Kadambini, these are the words of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Thank you. Okay, when we had
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I would say it's a layered question.
okay, we love it.
That's why I was writing down how to ask the question. So I see that when we talk about the Vaishnavas and the etiquette of Vaishnava, I see it that every devotee is very sensible, right? Like
You mean sensitive?
sensitive and like also very know how to behave, like
Yes,
you know,
yes.
to not to hurt each other
Yes.
or talk politely, right? So when we talk about Vaishnava Parad or see someone doing it, the first question would be, where are we going wrong? Like, what is making us go wrong? When we all are on the same path, and when we all know that it's the end destination, because we hear in a lot of lectures that if the devotee's goal is to happy Krishna and your goal is also to happy Krishna, then what is that is going wrong, which is causing?
Yeah, that's the whole series which our acharyas have described. Shraddha, sadhu sangha, bhajana kriya, anishtita bhajan, then nishtita bhajan, and anartha nivritti is like a big plateau. That's what the art forms we are discussing. So many. These are just 6 upashakhas we'll have. Maybe you all can write theses. It will be hundreds and thousands of upashakhas. Minute things, isn't it? And because of the baggage, the whole process is of purification, isn't it? So, hence we have to also have self-compassion. Not like, यहाँ पे खून से Yeah. We have to be compassionate to ourselves also that, yes, let's go on, right? Like Rupa Goswami said, Utsrijeta natha yadupate labdha buddhis. Now I have gotten the labdha buddhi, but I know I am in the shower. So being in the shower. So different devotees will be at different levels, right? Because not only in this life, previous lives also, right? So process is bona fide. Train goes back home, back to Godhead. Sometimes we get down from the train. Sometimes we may take a train which is not a Uttama Bhakti train, isn't it? So there are detour. We reached Ratlam. We are eating namkeen there. Then we remember, oops, I was going Mumbai. The train is Anya Vilashita Shunyam Gyan Karmadhya Nahavita. As much as we sit on that train, we'll go back home, back to Godhead, and then the sadhu sangha narta nibhuti, these will happen. Otherwise, detours will take place. So, different devotees, different levels of purification. We are also struggling. So, having self-compassion, compassion on them. Hote hote ho jayega. It's not utopia. That's the hardest part.
And when you see,
Does that help you? Whatever.
I'm
No?
processing.
Okay.
So when you see something is happening,
Got it. Okay.
What do you do?
Okay. Yeah. If you see something happening which is non-Vaishnava behavior, the first thing is that do you have authority? Or do you have the relation to say something to curb that Vaishnava behavior? First question. If no, just leave it at that. If yes, whether that's the right time. You have to find out the right time. Wait. That's why chanting all the time is very helpful. Or singing all the time. And if even you figure out that's the right time, right words, and there people fail. Because we are all coming from different upbringing, right? And some may use words in a very taunting manner. So with training is required all the three levels. First, to identify really, and sometimes just because you are, okay, let me use it. Maybe the kids will be happy. Even if you are parents, or even spiritual masters, or Shiksha Gurus, or Diksha Gurus, maybe we really do not have the authority to correct. And so that's the training at that level. And second is whether there's the right time. Third, whether we have the right words. It's a complicated thing. Easiest path is take the baseball bat and hit the home run. But then to hold, I think sometimes just being quiet and silent and observe, many of the things get solved also. And people, they figure out the solution themselves only. And you go, why were you doing? Everything is solved. Many times it happens. So I think, yeah, pausing. It's hard, but I think practice is very worthwhile. Investing time in that practice is quite worthwhile. Does that help you? Okay. Okay. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for a wonderful class.
Yes.
Prabhuji, you said Sanatana Dharma is individualistic. We should not normalize everything. What do you mean by that, Prabhuji?
Wow. Everybody should do book distribution only. Everybody should do fundraising only. Everybody should read 4 hours daily. Everybody should eat only bati. No shambar. Got it? Variety, inclinations. And look at the home of Srila Prabhupada. And I see in Seattle also, right? I mean, just look around. How different devotees are doing different things creatively. You know? Like there is a bhakti studio, there was a University of Washington preaching, some are painters, and some are Thakurji worshippers. So very individual. And why it should not be individual, right? Krishna is a Akhila Rasamrita Murti. That okay, 5 rasas are there, but within each rasa there is another thing, isn't it? If you read Lalit Madhav, Vidak Madhav, Krishna is just playing around with. Radha has become Satyabhama. This Chandravali has become Rukmini. And there he is reciprocating differently with different. Now, everybody becomes one kind of reciprocation. Krishna will be bored. Jao main yahan se. He will be getting bored, isn't it? And that's why good facilitation is needed. And I think we all can agree that we need more facilitators in ISKCON. Facilitator is different. His role or her role is different. Facilitator is fanning the spark. Look at where the spark is, fan it, appreciate it, encourage it. Facilitate, not like, come in my project. That's different. There's also scope for that. If suppose somebody is having a big project which needs many hands, good. But then facilitation is also needed, right? Somebody would just want to humbly cook for Krishna and we want him to be in some other way. It doesn't work. So facilitation. Does that help you?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Sorry, I couldn't. You had a question yesterday and I couldn't.
It's a different question.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances of praise to Srila Prabhupada. I want to ask this question that Srimad Bhagavatam 4:26-24.
I
Only
don't
Vaishnavas.
remember that.
Only,
You.
only Vaishnavas, like when we do offenses to Vaishnavas, knowingly or unknowingly, only Vaishnavas can free us of that sin. And we associate with devotees and we don't know how, knowingly or unknowingly, I don't know at least, how I've offended others. So how I can atone that? And then, like it's continuing with what Mataji asked, basically, so I'm on the reverse side of the pendulum, basically trying to figure out how do I manage, how to have that self-compassion and not beat myself up with whatever, because it's all happened in the past.
Yeah.
And even in future, if I'm associating with devotees, how do I not offend? Like I'm sitting here, I could hurt some devotee unknowingly, but they could take an offense in their heart. Because the only remedy Bhagavatam says is asking forgiveness from that devotee.
Yes, that's a remedy. What else do you think? You gave the answer.
Yeah, but
Yeah, that's the answer. Maybe we can orchestrate situations, centralize situation where we can ask forgiveness. Not wait till death.
yes, sir.
People wait till death. Still they will not ask. I know so many situations. Why to wait till death? Why not now? Maybe create a fake birthday. Weekend birthdays we have in America anyway, right? Yeah, that's a very tangible strategy. Feed the devotees. Ask forgiveness. नीचे होके कि अभी तक जितना भी हुआ है, let's purge that account. If you know a particular person, it takes lot of strength, but it's worth it. Though I know those who have done it, they have gone up. And those who have not, maybe at the death, we don't know. So, why to wait? So ask and serve. There used to be Neem Karoli Baba. बोलते थे सबको खिलाओ. Feed everyone. Love everyone. Serve everyone. And ये यहाँ का रास्ता यहाँ से होता है, पेट से होता है. तो maybe imagine, right? Somebody कुछ हो गया, उनको प्यार से बिठाओ, अच्छा खिलाओ, और बोलो माफी. अरे हो गया, give me more. Does that little bit help?
Yes. And Prabhuji, how do we have self-compassion then?
Self-compassion. So that's a different thing. Yeah,
If
other
you-
than self-compassion, go ahead.
Because if you start criticizing, I mean, if one start criticizing oneself a lot, so how do you come out of that mode of rumination and lamentation and then self-criticism and self-pity?
Yeah, well, guilt is a very useless feeling. Repentance is good because it moves us, but then the guilt is like, what happened, what to do? Krishna is still in my heart. He doesn't leave. And what will we do by beating us up, right? If we have to ask forgiveness and then some things have to be clarified and cleared, we'll do that. But then that spiral down may not help. It will demolish our health, it will demolish whatever relationships are remaining, it will demolish maybe our work. Sometimes talk therapy helps. A person who loves you the most, through his or her compassion, we may develop self-compassion. Let me repeat. The person who loves us the most, through his or her compassion, will develop self-compassion. Yeah.
And that's Krishna.
Well, I meant accessible person. Now, maybe you're talking with Krishna, but like for me, it would be an accessible person. Okay. I also don't want to hold you on for long. Tomorrow is working day and I'm really grateful you came. So we'll end here. Thank you so much. Jai Jai Shri Radhe.
Prabhuji, can you speak a little bit about books?
Hare Krishna.
So, okay, first of all, before we start the book part, if anybody who has not got the Prabhu's formal introduction yet, so we all know that, okay, so we all know that Prabhuji is the IIT topper, Prabhuji is the PhD from Stanford, we know all those stuff. But so that is the thing external, right? But do we really know Prabhu? So I would like to hear if we really know Prabhu, or what has been your observation of really knowing Prabhu. Anyone would like to do comment?
We got connected to Krishna consciousness while you stand through HG Harivamsa.
Okay. So, yes.
We got initiated and His Holiness Radhana's from and took his mission to spend his time at Krishna consciousness. Now in Vrindavan, that will be very significant.
So yeah, so I'll just add, I would have definitely due to the time constraint, I would just say that this is my observation, right? Prabhu is a Brajavasi by heart, and that you can see through his lectures and the way he speaks, right? He brings the Shastra, he brings the Brajavasi mood, and it's just like a dance, right? Shastra, song, introspection, practicality, hasya. So he's merging all the different rasas in his talk, right? So he's a Brajavasi from his heart. And then he talks about time, like he was answering time. I'll just my observation, Prabhu is very particular about time. So sometimes we laugh at Prabhu on this. You know, when Prabhu goes to airport, how many hours before he goes to airport, before the plane departs? Yeah, long time back, some devotee laughed that Prabhu can go and sleep there. But that shows his seriousness. In Krishna Bhakti, Prabhu is so particular. So today morning, 8:30, okay, breakfast. After that, 40-minute walk, back to room. Everything is timed. He's very serious. Very, very serious. And that shows in his all behavior. And that's what something is one of the observations. So we can talk a lot, but this is one of the observations for today, that what we can learn from Prabhu, that how to become serious in Krishna consciousness. And Krishna has given a lot to us and we can be grateful. But unless we become serious, like Prabhu, it will be very hard. That's the reason he left everything and he settled back in Vrindavan. So with that, Prabhu is taking his time to writing the books. He's helping Sri Ram Swami Maharaj in translation, but he's also using his time to write some of these books. So we'll request Prabhu to talk a little bit about his book, and these books can be very inspirational for some of us. So Prabhu, if you can talk, that will be great.
Damodar Hari Prabhu and their family is extremely kind. Please pray for them. They have to tolerate me for that. So I'll just speak about, these are two chutneys. One is green chutney and this is orange chutney, because the main course is coming from Srila Prabhupada's kitchen anyway. So this Horizons is a short story collection of 8 stories set in holy places around the questions of life and death. Questions like assisted suicide, questions which people grapple with, but all set up in holy places. And one of the stories also about an architect in Lanka who is confused whose side to go, Ram or Ravan, the existential side. Forest of Love is just released. This is a historical fiction, 16th century Vrindavan. On one level it is a story of a character like you and me who is traveling and finding out his journey from sadhaka stage to higher stages. And on another level, it is the biographies of Goswamis. Written in a dramatic manner, flashbacks, Srinivas Acharya comes, books get stolen in Van Vishnupur, and then the great debate between Prakashananda, so on and so forth. There is a war, there is interfaith in it for those who are interested in how does Islam, Christianity, Krishna consciousness fit in. And those who are art buffs, at the third level, it is explaining the construction of Madan Mohan and Govindadev temple and the culture of 16th century Vrindavan. So, you might like it. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. And anybody would like to take the book, please contact Nitin Prabhu and you can get signed also from us. And yeah, go ahead.
Well, last thing. Arjun Sakha Prabhu, would you want to add something, anything?
Nothing.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you so much for your Vani today. As you sang, Jo Sukha Hoya Ghar Bhakta Aaye. So the entire congregation here has got a lot of ecstasy with your visit to Seattle area. We hope you come here again and again and give us the same ecstasy. Thank you so much for your Vani today. Let's say 3 cheers in the VCC style for His Grace Harivamsa Prabhu. Harivamsa! Harivamsa! Before we depart for Prasadam, Pooja Mataji's daughter Sanskrit's birthday is today, so she would like to cut the cake for her today.
हाँ इसको स्टॉप कर देते हैं.
Can we just pray for her once?
Sure, definitely.
So we'll sing for